Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV Velocities of Music. Today, we are going to review Silversun Pickups' third album, Neck of the Woods. A long time ago, Tom, we reviewed, it was like episode 6, something
7,
like
8,
that.
single digits regardless.
The very beginning of Velocities of Music, when we were just still figuring out, I think we still had a lamp behind us. Really bad tip if you ever want to make a video, the light source goes behind the camera. We spent a half an hour just arguing about minute details about Swoon, their second album. And now, here we are, a couple years later, Neck of the Woods is out. It's a little bit different of sound. You know, Tom and I have both been Silversun Pickups fans for a number of years, starting with Carnivorous, and that aggressive, kind of Radiohead-esque, but more radio-friendly rock sound that this band's able to present, and just a moody, these guys are just moody rockers. That's what they do. And then Swoon came out, and Swoon was so much more aggressive. Guitars, bass, drums, and the vocals all worked harder than they ever did on Carnivorous, and the effect was more visceral sounding, and a lot of people liked it, and we got into a big debate about things, which I think we just all kind of settled out that we liked the album, and that we are excited to see what they're going to do next, because it kind of reminds me of Led Zeppelin 1 to Led Zeppelin 2, where it was more just, Led Zeppelin improved upon their sound, but then everyone's like, what are they going to do next, right? Same thing is true with Silversun Pickups. Tom and I were excited for Neck of the Woods to come out when the single, track 3, Bloody Mary, Nerve Endings dropped, and we heard this just amalgamation of electronic rock with like lots of distortion and just fuzzy sounding synths. It was very odd sounding. We didn't know what to expect. And then diving into this album is has been self-described by the band as, they wanted to make kind of a soundtrack to a horror film, and I feel like they did a pretty good job achieving that mood. It's meant to be, there's an added atmosphere to the songwriting. You still get a lot of the same Silversun Pickups sound, a lot of the same, classic guitar riffs and drum beats, and the vocalist has the same, intensity on his vocals, but now you have more electronics playing a role in the mix, expanded atmosphere. The band is taking their time to construct the songs. You don't have a track here that's under 4 minutes long. The average track length, I actually calculated it out, is 5 minutes and 21 seconds. That's incredible. And it shows that the band, that they're able to pull that off. It shows that they really have started to gain control over their sound. Yeah.
All the changes in the sound that you just mentioned is why I think Silversun Pickups is just exactly what I want out of a rock band these days. This is their third album. Each album has shown progression, and each album has been of tremendously consistent quality. And I love that. Hearing Swoon was just thick with strings. There were strings all over the place. I think they actually had like a full 16-piece orchestra or something. And here, I was thinking when I heard Swoon, I was like, this is really cool for this album, but dear God, if they keep doing that every album, it's gonna get tacky. They completely abandoned the string thing. They went for more of an electronic supplement to the sound, and it really works here because it's a perfect example of those electronic elements working with rather than against all the thick, noisy guitar, which is a staple of this band, kind of that Smashing Pumpkins' My Bloody Valentine guitar sound. It works really well with it, and so it was interesting to see that they still can't seem to write a song under 4 minutes long. But
it felt more natural here because the sound was expanded. They had the soft synths in the background, kind of fuzzing things up, and then I think the bassist has done the best job that she's ever done on an album. And the guitars played just kind of a more atmospheric role in this album. It's really any comparison to Radiohead that's ever been made to Silversun Pickups. I mean, this album lives up to that that comparison. Very moody, lots of guitars, lots of austere, high-pitched guitars in the background, just really filling out the sound. Because they're going for this intense atmosphere, it took a lot of the pressure off the vocals, and guitars for that matter, so that when the vocals actually did start working hard and being kind of the center of attention, a lot of intensity, it really had a dynamic effect.
Yeah, had much more of an impact. So yeah, for that, I really liked this album. I honestly, while I don't want to compare it too much to their previous albums, I don't think I like it quite as much as Carnivorous or Swoon. Did you like it better than Swoon? Or
I'm kind of on the fence, around the same. I think I have a soft place in my heart for Carnivorous. That's just a beautiful
It's my favorite
album
one too. But really, you'd mentioned, I think, that the first half is way stronger. Tracks 1 through 6 is like, bam, just terrific. And then after that, it slows down a little bit, mostly just because I think they don't mix it up enough.
Yeah, I think that they were kind of playing it safe a little bit.
Yeah.
They really liked this new direction. They had it all planned out, exactly what they wanted it to sound like, and they're like, we're going to do it again and again and again and again, and they just couldn't get off the horse. Tracks 7 and 8, somewhere in that area, they really needed to do something terrifyingly different. It needed to just shock the system and it just wipe the slate clean and start the album over with a new direction and sound. I think that would have really made this album more memorable, because sometimes the tracks kind of get lost in the big mess of Neck of the Woods. It gets lost in the woods.
And, you know, it's moments like that where it's hard to say whether it's the songs themselves or their placement.
Right.
And either way, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But it's just identifying what the problem is.
It's that dilution effect we talk about so much on Velocities in Music. And that does kind of bring it down for me. However, I do think that the closing track was a very good pick for closing track. I thought they did a nice job in this album overall. I'm probably a little bit higher than what I would be if it was another band that I maybe didn't like as much as Silversun Pickups, but as Tom said, this is exactly what I want to hear when I hear of a 2012 rock band. This is what I'm looking for. Somebody, you know, a band that really puts a lot of thought and a lot of passion into their music, because that's what really, you know, gets me going and makes me feel like that if the people making the music care as much about the music as we do, then I feel like we got a good marriage. I'm thinking I'm sitting at an 80 right now.
I'm going 80 as well.
You know what? Good album, worth checking out. Not one of the best of the year, but still just really high quality Silversun Pickups. And hopefully we see another direction from these guys in the future.
Yeah,
they have the potential to do amazing things, so it's always fun seeing what these guys put out. What do you guys think about this album? What's your favorite Silversun Pickups album? Did you like the electronic direction that they went with on Neck of the Woods? Did you feel like every track had a lot of intensity for you and you loved every track? Or do you kind of agree that there was some fluff in the middle? Not really fluff, but just needed change in direction. Let us know. www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. As always, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. That's where we talk with you, and you are what makes Velocities in Music what it is. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIM TV, moving music critique forward.